In a lot of organizations, brainstormings are not effective at all. And there are mainly two reasons why. The first one is the kind of brainstormings in which the manager just asks for all kind of ideas. We will just like write them all on a sheet of paper on the wall, and only then we will think on, we will try to prioritize them. This type of brainstorming is very ineffective because usually the team comes with one idea and maybe it's a bad idea, still we write it on the wall. Then the second idea, we still write it on the wall. And because there is no immediate feedback on the idea, if the first, second ideas were bad ideas, people don't know why. People get no feedback on what constitutes a bad idea, what makes a good idea good, which boundaries make like a budget or lack of skills or anything makes a bad idea bad, and therefore ideas do not improve. So usually this kind of brainstorming ends up with a wall full of mediocre ideas and people that didn't learn much on how to come up with better ideas. Second type of bad brainstorming is when the manager just asks for ideas one by one. And for example, one teammate comes with an idea and the manager replies, I don't like that idea. Where's another idea? And the second person maybe comes with another idea and the manager thinks it's a mediocre idea. Maybe he writes down just not to hurt the feelings of the person who suggested it. But again, there is no feedback. The manager doesn't explain what makes a good idea good, what makes a bad idea bad, and therefore people do not have the chance to learn and to come up with better ideas over time. Conversely, what makes for a good brainstorm is when after each idea is added, let's say, the manager provides some immediate and specific feedback on that idea. And he explains, if it's a good idea, he explains why he thinks it could be a good idea. For example, oh, that's a good idea because it's something we can implement quickly and that's what I'm looking for. Great, everyone else in the room understands that the manager is looking for ideas that don't take too long to implement, for example, and they will come with more ideas in that direction. So probably ideas which are more valuable for the manager. Same thing, if someone says a bad idea, it's important to explain to him why it's a bad idea. Of course, you don't want to say, for example, oh, Mark, that was a terrible idea. No, what you want to say is, for example, oh, thank you, Mark, but we cannot implement this idea because, for example, it will take too long to implement. And here instead, we need to show quick results within the next 2 months, for example. If you say a very specific and concrete reason why the bad idea is bad, then the person that suggested it will not feel bad at all for it. They will feel like, now I understand what my manager wants, and therefore you feel more excited, you feel closer to a solution, and you feel more engaged and more willing to come up with another idea. Conversely, if the manager just said bad idea, that would have destroyed the motivation. The person would have been like, why? I don't even understand why he said it's a bad idea. Therefore, I will just shut my mouth up because of the risk of coming up with a bad idea without knowing it's a bad idea. So my number one tip for brainstorming, or in general for any session in which you're requesting ideas or suggestions, is as ideas come in one by one, immediately give feedback on whether it's a bad idea or it's a good idea, and why it's a bad idea or why it's a good idea. And be very specific and be very concrete. And that's what you need to make people understand more what you're looking for. And the more they understand it, the more they will be motivated to come up with ideas, and the ideas they come up with will be better ones. Then additional tips would include to start doing that before the brainstorming begins. So while you tell people, hi, we're all sitting here because I'm looking for ideas about something, you want to maybe explain what kind of ideas you're looking for, what will make for a good idea, which criteria will make for a bad idea, and maybe we could even make some examples of things that you're looking for, or example of things you're not looking for. For example, you could say, I'm looking for ideas to promote our new product. But for example, advertising on TV would be a bad idea because we don't have so much budget, or we are not ready for a national launch yet. So that's what you want to do. Always explain what makes for a good idea, what makes for a bad idea, and give concrete examples. And these concrete examples might either be the ideas that people bring to you, or it could be examples that you make yourself just to clarify. So just to summarize, the reason why most brainstormings are ineffective is because people have not a good idea of a clear idea of what makes for a good suggestion and what makes for a bad suggestion. And it's your job as a manager to clarify that as early as possible and as specifically and concretely as possible. Thank you.